Pnawn da pawb, croeso i'r cyfarfod heddiw. Hello and welcome to the Merthyr Tydfil County Borough Council's Neighbourhood Services, Countryside and Planning Scrutiny on Monday, the 18th of December 2023. Please note that this meeting may be recorded and broadcast via the authority's internet site, and images and sound recordings may also be used for training purposes. Item 1, apologies for absence. Thank you, Matthew. Item 2, are there any declarations of interest? We have none. Item 3, litter bins within the county borough. And for this, I'll hand you over to Portfolio Lead, Councillor David Hughes.
Thank you, Chair. Before I read the policy, I'd like to thank the officers for the work they've done putting this policy together, and thank Julie and all for all the work you've done. Also, I'd like to thank the Scrutiny team for meeting in the workshops and the robust challenge and what we've done there. So I get on with the policy, okay? This report is to look at improving how we deal with requests for public litter bins, empty and maintain the existing bins and replace damaged bins. The primary objective is to highlight the necessity for a bin policy, ensuring a standardised approach to bin allocation and replacement procedures. The recommendations are: the context of this report is discussed and noted. As we go down, currently there's no established policy for the allocation of replacement bins. A presentation by Keep It Tidy, which we all had here in the Neighbourhood Services Scrutiny on 30th of January 2023, emphasised the need for a comprehensive scoring system and allocation policy to maintain consistency in bin allocations and replacements. Scrutiny is essential to review and refine the policy, ensuring it is appropriateness and suggesting improvements to ensure optimal bin replacement. I know in the workshop there was a question asked about the RSLs. Now they have been contacted and there's a meeting going to be set up to show them this policy to see if they are willing to adopt it, which I think will be a good thing, to be honest. Obviously, currently there's no established bin policy. Previously requested, submitted to Street Scene and financed by board members through BIFA, Foster Fund grant funding. The absence of the regulated process for determining bin locations has resulted in disproportionate distribution across the board. Furthermore, there's no systematic approach for replacing deteriorating bins. And I think after looking at that workshop down at Unit 20, we can see there's some areas have got hundreds and hundreds of bins and other areas hardly got any. But it's good that we can look at this now. The main thing is to have the right bin in the right place. That's the main thing. And this document was presented to Neighbourhood Services Scrutiny on the 30th of January 2023. Building on this guidance, a bin policy has been developed and incorporating a scoring matrix to establish a fair decision-making tool for bin allocation. The policy is available at Appendix A of this report, and it's to enhance oversight of a bin mapping system has been implemented, offering a comprehensive view of bin locations and conditions across the borough. A presentation on this system is conducted during a scrutiny workshop on the 17th of November, which has provided an overview of its functionalities. We will be looking to put another workshop for all councillors so that they can see this bin policy, because I think this is the way to go, to be honest. So rather than read all the policy, I'm sure you all read it. So where we want to be is our goal is to have a approved bin policy ensuring a consistent approach to the allocation, maintenance and replacement of damaged bins. I there move. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Do we have any questions? Bill?
No, again. David mentioned we're going to meet with Housing Association.
Both ourselves, yeah.
Right. Are members invited or just sort of
At the
Housing
moment,
Association
it's
and
Chief
also-
Exec and the two leaders of the RSL.
Are members invited to our meeting as well?
Well, they're not at the moment, but I can put that forward if you like, Bill.
Yes, please.
Lovely, that's okay. Great.
Phil? Flip star, sorry.
We appreciate the construction of this policy. I think it's going to ensure a consistent approach to many aspects of allocation, maintenance, and replacement of damaged bins. One thing which we thought was not clear in the policy was the approach to actually requesting, because if you look at the policy itself, I think it's in section 3, requests for new bins. It says all requests for new bins must be in writing and can originate from the public, councillors or staff. So what isn't clear, and presumably it will be made clear, is what is that practical procedure for requesting a bin? What does in writing actually entail? Does that mean a letter or an email, or will it be an online system of requesting a bin, similar to the kind of online services which we currently have for things like emptying a bin or reporting a street light that's out of action? It's that practicality of how the requests originate.
Yeah, thanks for the question. Basically, it was in general, we were thinking of via the reported page for neighbourhood services online. However, if we receive a letter, we would accept that as well, or an email. Either way, as long as it's a formal approach, we can act on that.
Okay, so
We've got an application form here as well.
which will be online as well as in a paper format.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Query that we had, the clarity that we needed about the procedure of originating a request, and it can be done by a member of the public. It hasn't got to go through a councillor. Okay, thank you.
Just following on a little bit from that one then, Rob. If an application is put in, would the ward councillors be made aware that an application was being made and potentially granted before it's installed?
Yes, I think that would be the process, because there could be circumstances where the elected member knows of particular reasons, problematic areas. We would consult with yourselves to say we've had an application in. We would have gone through the scoring process, and if that scoring process was successful, we then come and check out with the members first, because as I say, you might be aware of some local problems that we are not as officers.
Yeah, that was the point. Thank you very much, Rob. Malcolm Colburn.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Yeah, just regarding the bins that have been paid for by ward councillors through either Biffa or Foster Fan in the past, if one of those needs replacing due to damage or deterioration, are the ward councillors expected to pay for the replacement, or will the council pay for the replacement of those bins?
No. Although that was the original way of funding bins, there has subsequently been put £20,000 in the capital funding. So any replacement bins will be purchased out of that capital fund. and assuming we'll use the scoring process. So if the bin needs replacing, you'll go through the scoring process, and if it's deemed to be replaceable, then the capital funding will replace that
Right,
bin.
that's great. So any bin that needs replacing, we'll go through the scoring process again.
Yes.
Is that correct? Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Councillor Clive Jones.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. On page 11, there's a series of dots in the middle of the page, and bottom one there reads consideration of objections from neighbouring residents if the bin could worsen litter problems. So who deals with the objections? Is it the individual member of staff who makes the assessment, or does it go elsewhere in the department?
Yeah. Over the 4-week initial testing period, a member of staff will check the area and the bin location twice a week for 4 weeks. On that, then there'll be a scoring matrix where they'll justify whether a bin is required or not. And after that, then it'll come to either myself or Rob, and we'll give the final approval. But yeah, there is paperwork in place to show as well, you know, what it scored, why it did or why it didn't progress to a replacement, or if it did have a replacement.
So a member of staff will go there twice
Twice a week.
or
Yeah.
twice a week,
Twice a week for 4 weeks.
right? So what are they assessing then? If there's no bin there, the amount of litter that's
Yeah.
around the area?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah. Right.
And is the area known to us? You know, is there a lot of fly tipping in the area? Putting a bin in an area that's got a lot of fly tipping will attract even more.
Side waste.
Yeah, there's a lot of household side waste put next to bins.
Right.
And it's key to mention as well that we've put bins in places as requested by councillors in the past, but no consultation with local residents. And you know, quite often they'll come out and say, you know, I don't want a bin in front of my window.
Yeah. Particularly a dog bin.
Yes, particularly a dog bin.
Yeah. So how will the residents know then that the officer have said, yes, that needs a bin there? Would people in the area be advised that there's the intention to put a bin there? Because a lot of the time the objections would come after a bin is put in.
Yeah. We've drafted a letter ready. We'd give it to the local councillor who's made the application or the member of public. And we would distribute around that particular street so that people were aware a bin was going there.
Right. Okay. But a second question, I'm not crystal clear as to the exact timetable. It's with us at the moment. There's been a workshop for the scrutiny members. You mentioned there'll be a workshop for all the councillors. Where does it go from there? Does it go straight to council, or does it go to cabinet and then council? Because I think we've had a pre-meeting and the consensus of opinion here is that this policy needs to be implemented as soon as possible.
Chair. Any ideas? It would obviously have to go to the all council first, I'm assuming. I'm not sure the timing on that currently, but you know, as soon as possible.
Rob, I spoke to the leader. He wanted to go to cabinet first.
Or cabinet first.
That's why I asked the question. So it's a workshop for all the councillors before it goes to cabinet, or is it a cabinet and then a workshop for all the councillors and then council?
To the council when the councillors don't want it.
No.
We will have a councillors workshop. I can't see it lasting long, be honest with you,
Right.
the workshop, because I think the policy is pretty robust, be honest with you, when you look into it. I think whoever wants to come can come along, and there's no reason why it can't come pretty soon after the new year.
Right.
And it can come from cabinet straight into full council.
Right. So it's
Yeah.
workshop organised
Yeah.
workshop, cabinet,
Cabinet
then
and
council.
yeah,
Okay,
same day the cabinet, then the
Right.
council.
that's fine, thank you.
Bill?
You got a statement there, if the bins are damaged, you're gonna replace them. How much of a budget per year you go for that, or are you planning for doing this, just replace them the first year and then 3 years down the line, put a budget to change them?
There is a £20,000 capital in our budget at the moment. So
Not every year, is there?
well, it's in there at the moment, obviously I don't know what the financial pressures are going to be and whether, the pressures on the capital budget will deem it necessary to remove that. But at the moment, we've got a £20,000 capital budget to replace bins.
Yeah, I accept that, but also I like to have a budget if it's possible, to have a budget every year, so we're not left chasing our tails, ranting and raving that we want bins. Because fossil fines not gonna last forever and a day. That's come to an end surely. So, we want some assurance that bins will be put place where we're moving them.
Yeah, well, the budget's in place at the moment. I can't say what's going to happen, in the future. That would be members' decision, I suppose, what the priorities are. But at the moment, there is a £20,000 capital allocated.
Bill, to add to that as well, we've currently got 34 unsatisfactory bins throughout the
Yeah, I
county
agree,
borough.
yeah.
To replace the 34 is going to cost us 18,500 in the first year.
So we got 1,500 per Shing, I've been to school, 1,500 per year, is there?
That's
For
correct.
full year. How much is a bin?
Depends what you want. They vary.
They ever charge on top of that, or don't pay
Yeah.
because for a bin for a council, but a bin it's like £500, eh?
No, it's,
500.
for a dog bin, it's £392. For a triple bin, it's £919.
Costs us down on every skint.
Clive?
Yes, thanks. On page 10, it gives the number of bins that we've got throughout the county borough. So you're talking there, I think, approximately 550 bins, which has been increasing year on year. Do we have the capacity to, and particularly in relation to dog bins, can you tell me, have we got the capacity and how often are they emptied?
Can I answer that, Bill?
Anybody?
Can I answer that?
Yeah.
The thing is that this policy might be removing bins. It's not only replacing bins, because
Right.
if you've seen that workshop and seen the amount of bins in some areas, it was over the top, to be honest.
Right.
So them bins, there's no reason why some bins can't be recovered and used if they're in good thing.
Right. So the figure of 550 might alter a bit, but
Yeah,
not
yeah.
substantially. They might want them,
Yeah,
more
yeah.
need for them
Different
somewhere
bins.
else.
That's correct.
So we still got the situation of emptying these. Let's take it one by one. The dog bins, how often are they supposed to be emptied?
It'll depend on the location, Clive. Some dog bins are obviously used more than others, especially through the parks and cemeteries. Like the town centre litter bins have got to be emptied 5 times a day. In general, I would say bins are emptied on a Monday and Friday. But it all relates to the location, really, and how often people are using them.
Right. And I would have thought to empty the dog bins or I don't know, open the bin, because you can't see through them.
No.
Open the bin to see how much is
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't be left for any length of time because of what's in the bin.
So yeah, we were fortunate enough to have some extra funding from the portfolio member last year, where we have now got 2 operatives emptying bins instead of 1.
Right.
And if any of those 2 are off, the ward team, then the cleansing ward team, would cover their bins for the day.
Right. I think that's answered the question, because it is important as to how often these bins are emptied. You get to know as staff which are the ones that fill up, sooner
Yeah.
than others. Is it that's the way it works?
Yeah.
Yeah. I must admit, in relation to the dog bins in our ward, there's only one area where I had complaints, and that was probably, I don't know, might have been a large amount of sickness with the staff, because the bin was full, and they were put in the full bags underneath the bin, and consequently, residents got in touch with me about it. Okay, thanks.
Comments? Sorry, questions. Comments next for anyone?
I wanted, we discussed this policy, we've got a workshop on it, is take it as a step down, is take it through it, safeguard the boys, because the boys are looking after the funding, right? And we've got to make sure that the area is kept clean. Otherwise, if we don't take it forward, it's going to stop and it will be worse again. So let's take it forward. Let's see what we're going to do. But can we come back in a year's time, see if it's working? Because, you know, it's all right that scrutinizing, changing things. It might not work. We might have to go back as it was. So can we bring it back in a year's time to see it is working? And well, it is a bit better. I know Rob won't be here, he'd be laughing.
Yeah, obviously, the process is always under a constant review, and if something is not working, we'll come back and review it. But this is an idea put forward to by Keep Wales Tidy, or was it? Keep Wales Tidy is their strategy as such. We've just amended it for our requirements and needs, and we think it'll be a fairer system all round, because there is a disparity of bins throughout the borough. So we want to make it, you know, evenly spread rather than the EU shouts the loudest, gets the most bins.
Yeah, Rob, I support that for Ali. One day, we want to know if it's working. We got a meeting with him, social housing, and you know, social housing very don't support you at the present moment. So if that don't work, and you don't work, it'll be a mess, man. It'll be chaos.
Yeah, the overall cleansing test, if you like, is the LEAMS inspections. So it is one of our corporate priorities to improve on the LEAMS scores. So that will be a key performance indicator, if you like. So if that drops, once we've implemented this policy, then you know we can go back and review it. The idea is to improve things, not to make them worse.
Thank you, Chair.
Clive?
Sorry, mine's a final question, Chair. And it's in regards to what Councillor Hughes has said. If you identify that there's areas where the bins shouldn't be, or you got too many, do you have a ready-made list of or areas where you are aware there is a really high demand where the bins should go?
We did have a list of bins that were regularly being abused.
Right.
And by being abused, what I mean is either vandalised or people living in the proximity were putting their household recycling in the bins.
Right.
So we did have a list for them. Thankfully, I can say that we have removed all the worst ones to date.
Right.
No doubt, the minute you move some, others then become a target. And we have found, you know, that we are having to basically pick up black bags full of household waste that people are putting next to bins. I don't know the thought process behind that, because I think they think they're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they're not, because it's classified as fly tipping.
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah, the answer to your question is we have resolved all the main
Right,
issues to
but-
date.
if we reduce the number of bins for a variety of reasons, you must be aware of certain areas where, in your opinion, the operatives that go there on a regular basis, there's areas where there's seems to be a high demand for bins. So you haven't got a list of, I don't know, 24 areas where you know of currently where bins should go?
What I would say there, Clive, is bins don't always solve the issue of litter. Just by putting a litter bin there doesn't necessarily reduce the amount of litter, because the responsible person will take the litter home regardless of a bin or not. The irresponsible person will drop their litter whether there's a bin or not. So it doesn't necessarily correlate that by having more bins you get cleaner streets. In fact, the opposite can happen, because it attracts side waste. And when we're in the game of trying to reduce our recycling targets, side waste on the 500 bins, that's a significant amount of tonnage, which we have to obviously compensate then on a recycling. So, you know, bins are not always the answer. Yes, we do have to have bins in town centres and parks and things. But I think the amount of bins we've got is counterproductive, if I'm honest.
And the other question I've got is I notice in the report, it says that because of vandalism, you've looked at changing the position of these bins to an area where there's CCTV. And if you've done that, have you picked up people that have doing what you just said, Rob, put in fly tipping waste next to a bin? And have they been dealt with?
No, to date, we haven't moved any bins to CCTV areas. I've had a conversation with Paul Lewis. They are still developing the CCTV footage. And hopefully going forward, that is something that we do want to do. Because as I alluded to earlier, you know, people are actually fly tipping when they put bags of waste next to a litter bin. It is deemed as fly tipping, and the awkward part of that, and we discussed this in the workshop a while back with David, the two Davids, sorry. We need to, once we've got footage, you know, how do you identify the people if you don't know them? Because they're only walking down the street and throwing a bag next to a bin. So if you can't identify them, you can't go any further. There's a lot. We would depend more on people giving statements and letting us know what's going on in the area.
Surely, if you put it on Facebook or YouTube, you'll know within 10 seconds who they are.
You can't legally do that.
Pity. Thank you.
Councillor Malcolm Colburn.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, at the workshop, we were showing this interactive map of all the bin locations. Can that be shared with ward councillors?
Yeah, we looked into that, and yes, every councillor for Merthyr Tydfil will have access to that system.
Okay.
It will be a read-only system, though.
Yeah.
Do we have any further questions or comments, please? Clive.
Chair, I agree with Councillor Smith. I mean, we need to, now that we've had the workshop, we need really to get on with this. The scrutiny, I wasn't unfortunately in the workshop, but you know, the scrutiny members have been through it. They've asked challenging questions, I understand. We've done the same here this afternoon. There doesn't need to be a delay here from what I can see of it. This can be implemented, and it means that council members, the public, staff, know exactly what the policy is. And if anybody got any query, copy of it so they understand it.
Any more for any more? No. Then can I just add my congratulations to all concerned for a very well thought out report and policy, which I'm sure will be supported by full council and hopefully benefit the whole of the county borough. Thank you very much. You may leave if you wish. It's lucky we all got thick skin, man. I give. Open this up. No, open this up. Go through the first and then open it, is it? Yeah. Right, thank you very much. So item 4 now is the Scrutiny Forward Work Programme 23-24. We've just a few comments first. We've had responses from MVH and Wales in the West to the letters we sent inquiring about their street cleansing functions. So support officer will send those responses following the scrutiny, and we'll discuss as a group how to take it forward. We'll go through a couple of items first and then ask questions later. The other one that we're hoping will come forward, is likely to come forward, is a report coming to committee regarding recycling figures and targets for the January scrutiny meeting, as there's a lot of concern about us achieving our recycling targets for 24-25. So on that note, I will open it up to either of those two issues. Any questions, please? Nope. Or Clive?
Well, I think in view of the fact that we've got to, a council has got to achieve 70% recycling target by the 31st of March 2025, I think it's really important that we put this item on the meeting for is it the 29th of January? And put it on the agenda, Chair, particularly in relation to the poor figures on food waste recycling, because that needs to be increased vastly. But we have other problems in view of the fact that the public are still putting the recycling in the black wheelie bin, and that shouldn't be happening in this day and age. And I presume, Chair, if the committee agrees to that we will have a really up-to-date report from the officers, because we need the up-to-date data that they got, really up-to-date, up to, shortly before this is on the agenda for the 29th. We need the really up-to-date figures, not a few months old.
Yep, no, certainly no problem with that. We've brought this forward as a priority, and it's actually worked out well, because we've shuffled some of our some reports that we were looking to do, and it was looking a bit thin at certain points. But it's at times like this, when there's something of high priority, that shuffling them makes sense. And we've now got the opportunity to give this a good airing in the next meeting, all things being fair and equal. Yes, Clive?
Sorry, Chair.
You're on the same report, same point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're having a meeting about this with the housing associations. Will those discussions be completed before the scrutiny committee at the end of January?
I don't know the answer to that.
I think it might be helpful if we were able to complete those discussions in the next. I know it's
But
Christmas.
yeah, but the one with the meeting with the RSLs is regarding litter rather than.
Oh, it's not dealing with.
It's not dealing with recycling.
on this.
No.
All right. Sorry. All right. Sorry. Okay.
Bill?
A bit of a coughing fit. Some of the officers will bring the policy out of everything they got in front, or to tell us what they gotta do and what the residents gotta do.
This is regarding the recycling streams, the individual streams, yeah?
Everything, yeah. We were in day. If we don't know what we got to do, we'll be a mess. I'm telling people something and they say, oh, it's not that. And don't forget, people talk as well outside the office. Same as us, and we add on or we take away. So it's have the full policies of the right correction, so we know which way we go forward.
Yeah, also a bit of clarity on some of the restrictions on the recycling with some of the materials that we collect.
Everything.
Any other questions? Bill?
If possible, on the issue of nappy and absorbent waste product
AHPs.
recycling, some sort of update with regard to that, because we have discussed that in this committee before, and it seems to have been sidelined with regard to that. That's another issue of recycling which could be tackled by an appropriate policy, and the same thing applies, I think, to plastic film and wrapping as well. So if those can be brought up, or an update with regard to thoughts and actions to those two aspects, that would be very helpful as well.
It will be done. Anything else? Nope, everyone's looking happy. Item 5 is scrutiny referrals. No referrals have been received.
We throw things at me. Can we have a referral to the highway department to find out what's happening in the bottom of the town by the fountain? Now we've got 2 pendant crossings down there. When they don't work together, right? Ad hoc, the traffic is far up as far as the fire station, sometimes in the afternoon and in the morning, and it's absolutely chaos. People are ranting and raving and shouting. So can we have some sort of discussion with them? Why can't they put the 2 pendant crossings working together? So whoever presses a button, the 2 lights goes on, automatically together and not individually, because it's the best down there. And it's absolutely ridiculous. The way people are talking down there, shout at you, scream at you, we got to do something.
I think they were put in as part of the active travel system rather than highways.
Yeah, I don't mind who they put it in. I want discussion on it because it's going to get worse, more traffic. And you see the traffic Saturday down there, you're going to go this morning, unbelievable. And it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it to make sense.
As someone that lives on the top of that hill, Bill, I know exactly what you're saying.
Whether
I'm
it's up there, they park them and go on this road now to get the fountain for petrol.
Yeah, we'd certainly have a look at that. I think it will be active travel, will be the department involved. Move on to agenda item 6, report recommendations. Did we address the recommendation in the report, and do we believe we've added value? Comments? Yeah, I think although it was a very good report from the outset, there has been several very relevant questions from members, and that can only make the policy even better, in my opinion. So yes, I believe that we have added value to the report in this instance. Any other comments? No. Move on to agenda item 7, feedback on scrutiny activities, any outstanding actions and feedback from workshops. The feedback report has been published relating relating to the litter bin workshop held Friday the 17th of November. The report aims to close the loop on the workshop and allows members an opportunity to reflect on the workshop and offer any comments, recommendations, which has been done very well, I think. Item 8, any other business? Oh, sorry, Phil.
Thought that meeting that we had on Unit 20 was very productive, very practical, very hands-on, and it made the process with regard to the discussing our policy today much more streamlined. So thanks to you and thanks to Neil for setting that up and the officers for giving us the time to do that. Can I just ask one question? There's something on the 20th of January. Neil, is there?
Yes,
Is that the next?
Yeah, it's going to be site visit.
Yeah, site visit.
I'm sorry, I probably haven't read your email properly, but what does that actually entail?
What we tried to do was to have the whole scrutiny down there.
Yeah.
But for various reasons, it turns out that we couldn't have the whole scrutiny down there because the general public needed to have access to the site. Also, there was no DDA access for people. So what we decided to do was to have the pre-scrutiny meeting down in 20, when we could have the visit to the area and see everything we wanted to see. So the pre-meeting will be down there, and then the actual meeting will come back up here. It gives us a chance then to look at any issues that arise in between the two. Sunday?
Meeting on the Monday.
Yeah.
Is it?
No, the way he said it, I thought I was the same day.
No.
20, yeah, okay.
Pre-meet's on the Thursday, the full,
Yeah.
the
The 25th.
scrutiny
Yeah,
meeting then
yeah,
is.
20. Yeah, I got it here. Yeah.
Otherwise, we'd have been chasing down there,
I know.
Yeah.
have the visit and coming
Yeah.
back a bit, so
No,
that wasn't happening.
Yeah,
So-
it's the 25th, isn't it? It's a
Yeah,
Thursday.
scrutiny's on
and
the
I-
25th.
I've already sent my apologies in to Neil. I've already in my diary, I'm chairing a finance committee up in Cyfarthfa Park privately exactly at 4 o'clock. So I'm still good. I'm sorry, I can't be there for that meeting.
You will,
The vehicles, is that the fleet?
yeah.
I haven't updated the invite yet. I'll do that tomorrow.
So on that, item 8, any other business deemed urgent by the chair? I have none. And all it remains is to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Happy and prosperous New Year. Thank you very much, everyone.